Is it easier to sort of break into the industry in France because it's so small, or are there still the same challenges for people trying to get into the industry as actors there?
I think it's very French speaking. So the way, you have to be able to speak French and not just French. I mean, so I did this film called L'Embarras du Choix, which Spoiled for Choice, I think it was called in English, but it was, I remember the casting process was more rigorous than any casting process I've been through. And the casting director was more like he felt like a director, not a casting director, because it was a comedy. So it was partly timing and rhythm and just making sure the French that I had was fluid enough to deliver, to hold my end up in the comedy. And so no, I don't think it's easy to get into, but it is, once you're in it, once you've got something going in France, it's like all these smaller industries, then it sustains itself.
Yeah.
And there's other things there that make it easier to be an artist. There's a thing called l'intermittent du spectacle, which is like a government program. So if you work a certain number of the weeks of the year within the arts, within film, cinema, theater, whatever it is, I think it goes broader than that, actually. So festivals, then the government pay you a stipend for the rest of the year so that you can survive. So it's so antithetical to everything that America stands for. I mean, I know, shock horror, but that exists. That's part of what was a European tradition. I mean, it doesn't happen in the UK at all, but it does in France. So there's that sense in which if you're involved in the arts, you're appreciated by the state and you are sustained so that you can have a life that is dedicated to the arts, whether you can have because a lot of these people don't work in the winter. Theaters are seasonal, for example, and even the movie business is quite seasonal in France. There's a lot more filming in the summer than there is in the winter. So yeah, it's just a different culture. And no, I think it's just as hard to break into, to be a French film star as it is, to be an American film star, to be a movie actor here. It's just different. And
it's so strange to me, just because in the US, we're actively canceling the arts in schools. The arts is getting canceled in the US, whereas, not in every school and not in every place, but they're electives. Electives are getting canceled, and, it just makes the idea of wanting to be an artist incredibly scary for people, and then also parents of children. My biggest fear would be for a child to go into the arts, although at the same time I would love it.
Yeah, no, it's same in the UK. My kids, when they came back to London, went through the state education system here in the UK, and there was very, they did some plays. I mean, they happened to go through the COVID time, so there wasn't very representative, but there was very little extracurricular stuff that the state education, free education is able to provide these days. And it's a real issue. Music is another one. Music has been heavily cut back. And funny enough, we were just talking about languages too.
Really?
Because I guess, everyone's got Google Translate now, and AI is going to do it for them. And everyone just feels like, why bother? And it's slightly the arrogance of English speakers, I suppose, as well. But lots of things are being cut back. And it's a shame. And the arts will always find a way because they can be commercialized. But I think, just speaking in London, I've noticed, for example, theatre prices. If you want to go out to the theatre in London now, it's like Broadway prices back when I was living in the States, which I was always shocked by. But now London prices are pretty much the same because we just don't have as much money for the arts post-COVID, post-bank bailout, post-everything as we used to. And it is a shame because it means that the stuff that works has to be obviously commercially viable, and it means it's all quite similar. The people who are really pushing the envelope, so the people who are taking risks, making something that maybe there isn't an audience that will go and see. And I think, it's a shame if everything is audience focused, because I'm an audience member. I don't know what I want to see. I want to be surprised by something. I don't want to see what I saw last week in a different package with a different title. I genuinely, want to be, taken aback. And I think that happens when people are free to take risk, and not everything has to be commercial to the same degree. Obviously, commercial stuff's great.